Good morning. It's time to get in touch. In Touch is a public affairs show dedicated to improving the lives of Susquehanna Valley residents. I'm Freddi Hammer, News Director at Backyard Broadcasting. The announcement came this week that the 19th annual 9/11 Memorial Ride will not be able to take place in North Central PA this year due to difficult regulations in place from the state to obtain a permit within the scheduled time.
And as we are a little bit disappointed, maybe a little bit more than disappointed, we're here today with Tank Baird, president of the 9/11 Memorial Coalition, and Reverend Gary Smith, one of the representatives there, taking over for Father Mano this year, as well as Todd Winder of the fire company of Clinton Township. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Oh, it's so great to be here with you today, but we certainly do want to hear a little bit about why the ride was canceled. Lots of folks not very happy. I guess we start with you, Tank.
Well, first of all, it's, in the whole spectrum of this thing, the whole pantheon of cancellations, we're just one. There's certainly bigger events that have been canceled than ours, and we're fully aware of that. We almost hate to complain, but we're gonna.
Yes. How many people came last year? As far as that was your inaugural ride without Father Mano.
Yeah, they have thousands.
Oh.
We really gave up trying to, because they're coming in from the side streets and everything. There's really not a good way to get an accurate count, but I'll say thousands.
Tell me a little bit about how it got started as far as 9/11 started, but then you really wanted to do something extra after that event for our world.
Well, we rode 4 days after the attack. That was the first ride. That's what confuses everybody. We say, well, this year would have been the 19th anniversary, but we had 20 rides. We would have had 20 rides under our belt. And the first one was a protest ride. Me and a gentleman, Don Miller, we were in the same club. What do bikers do when we were angry? It was more angry than anything. In fact, I remember doing most of that ride with my fist in the air, chanting USA, USA. And it was a short ride, but I'll tell you what, it was a eye-opener for me, never having organized anything like that before. And I will never forget looking in my rearview mirror, and I saw, horrified. I just never. We're hot on the bumper of the state trooper, but I'm looking in the rearview mirror. The light changes, and people are still going through the light. Well, gee, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe they'd stop, but they're all good. And there was like 80 or 90 people or riders, and I said to myself right there, if we're going to do this again, we're going to have traffic control. That issue is being brought up again because we are in a position because of not being granted the permit, and we're not alone. The governor's office and PennDOT and everything has, I don't know whether it's conspiracy or not, but the requirements are almost impossible to fill. We basically ran out of time.
Yeah.
We had Garth Everett, our state rep, involved. We had the state senator involved, and we couldn't budget. And it was very frustrating to us, and we had already put in so much work over the year, and we started right after the county turned green to try to do all the local permits and all of that. But the fact is, nobody wanted to put a signature to any. And this is we're in a siege of litigation. You have to be careful with everything, and the language that the state was putting out, it was intolerable to some townships and boroughs.
And they just wouldn't be able to get behind those
they
kind of
would not
regulations.
sign. We had to get signatures, and everybody wanted to sign. There was 2 questions, and I had to make the form.
Okay.
They had no form for this. It was a mandate, but they had no form for it. This indemnity language. They all signed the first question, will you let the 9/11 ride pass?
So you had support.
Absolutely. But they're not signing the second one. Some did, and I think that was based on the reputation of the ride. They just saw it. It was a 9/11 ride. They signed it. But the second question, the language was just, I wouldn't have signed it. I wouldn't have signed it. So our next move is to get a waiver, and frankly, that came in too late.
Okay.
Garth Everett said, well, I can't pull it off.
Yeah, let me ask Gary about the frustration surrounding trying to get all this paperwork done. You must have just been watching Tank try to get it all together and trying to support. How much can you help?
Well, yeah, I'm sort of his backup. We started this, and after like the 3rd or 4th ride one time, I said to him, what are we going to do with this? So we sat down and we actually formed the non-for-profit corporation, and we give back to the community. We donated thousands of dollars to law enforcement. We give to first responders. The actual center of this entire thing is a memorial service.
Absolutely.
Father Mano and I we had a call that our job was to pray for the weather. Now, after 19-plus rides, twice we really maxed out and we got drained. I mean, it was drenched. It was horrible. But other than that, we pulled it off almost every year. It is to honor the first responders. I see that footage of firefighters running into those buildings, that horrendous, the smoke and all this going on. So it is to honor their memory. Those that perished in the tragedy, those that risked their lives, and today that continue to risk their life. And no one could address it better than Chief Winder, because they're out there. And I don't care if it's 50 below zero or 100 degrees above zero. They're out there fighting fires and helping injured, etc. Law enforcement, people out there, and the troops. We actually took on the veterans because they're out there risking their lives. And we would hold a memorial service to honor those. We had, people came and spoke, etc. But the coalition is an apolitical group. We don't support any one party.
Sure.
But as Tank said, I can't thank our politicians enough that went to bat. They tried everything to bring this to fruition, and unfortunately we're blocked. And what disheartens me in this issue is people protesting. This is not a protest. Think of it as a church service when you're sitting on your motorcycle. It's something special. It's reverence. It's honoring those people. If you want to protest, Saturday the 12th, there's going to be a major motorcycle event in Harrisburg. Go down there. It's a perfect day for a ride. Go down there and protest to PennDOT, to the governor's office, that blocking this patriotic event. Now, anyone is free to ride, and I know there's going to be people out riding, but we have to disavow any tie to any group or any one. We are not sanctioning any rides here locally. Personally, many of us will ride. It is at some time just to go, but we'll stop at every stop sign and be cautious.
That's the difference, isn't it? As far as you were talking about the traffic.
Tremendous roadblock. So if people get out there and protest this year, and it could cancel it for the future, for the coalition. And next year is the 20th anniversary. We had people from up to 9 different states coming in to ride this ride. And every year it has just grown and become larger and it more relevant because of the issues that are going on. And now with COVID, and if you go out there protesting, it could cause the state to cancel this in the future. So
we want to make sure that we can continue to honor those that we've lost.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. So the chief can really address a lot of the issues of how far and all that's involved from that.
Sure. I would love to talk to Todd Winder. He is the Clinton Township Fire Company. And just as far as folks that really came from Pennsylvania to go to Ground Zero, I mean, you must have had colleagues that you lost, and I'm so sorry for all of you.
Father Mano was there. Yes. He provided comfort and was at, I'm going to give it the wrong name, but the church that was kind of up the street from Ground Zero. Mm-hmm. It was a morgue at one time, and all the first responders or all the people that were working the pile came up there for food and just to,
find a little respite.
Regather, and he ministered to them. So, he was our direct link to 9/11. Tank has said he was the one that always made sure that we remembered why we were doing this ride. We could have turned this into a motorcycle rally at any moment if we wanted to with the amount of people. We could have turned it into a weekend-long sort of thing. And honestly, it was the coalition. Years ago, we talked about moving it to the Saturday before, the Saturday after, so that more people could participate. And I don't like to use the word I, but I was the one that said find somewhere else because those people didn't choose Tuesday to go have this happen. And
Absolutely.
If we're going to memorialize them, December 7th isn't held on, December 15th because it's a Saturday. So I strongly, in the coalition, I don't want to say seen it my way, but I think we had that collective moment with Father Mano that, this is a memorial ride. This isn't, we want it to be huge. We want it to be across the country that people know that this is the place to come and honor first responders.
He would say this is about sacrifice.
Right. Father Mano was the one that kept us together, and he's still with us. Believe me, he's still with us, watching over us, and I probably need him more than any of the rest of them. But this ride is 42 miles long throughout southeastern Lycoming County and the central part with the city, we're 19 different municipalities. Some have their own permit requirements. We're all on state routes. But for us to pull this off, we have to pay for insurance every year. We have to pay for some of the permits. There's some costs involved. Every year we find something new. I mean, the one year we had the flooding 2 days before, trying to figure out another route, or were we going to cancel it then? And people don't realize what went on behind the scenes to pull that ride off. Literally while the memorial service was going on, we were getting the route cleared. And it takes coordination. So all the fire departments, the police departments, and all those municipalities, the sheriff's office, the city streets and parks workers. I mean, I think there's 23 intersections that we cover just in the city of Williamsport. We coordinate with Norfolk Southern and Lycoming Valley Railroad to stop the train so that we don't get stuck by a train. We block Route 15 for a period of time, the major north and south route through the center part of the county. So we have worked very hard to make sure that this is a motorcycle memorial ride. When you start mixing motorcycles and cars, and that's one of our biggest safety concerns, is that we worry about cars that just want to butt into the column, and now there's groups that are and it's a protest ride. Well, that's not what the 9/11 ride is for. Yeah. But COVID is here. It's real. 2 of my closest friends were just released from ICU over the last week, and they're both members of fire department.
About the COVID thing, we had a mitigation plan,
right,
but never got to it.
Okay.
I mean, we were creating a mitigation plan, and a lot of people out here that are non-mask wearing, they think it's all a government conspiracy and that sort of thing. Wait until you have a close encounter with this, and you don't want to be the guy or the girl that has to make those calls. It's a scary world right now.
So next year is the 20th anniversary of the attacks, and we try to plan 1 year at a time, and we've been talking about the 20th anniversary because we know it'll be on a Saturday. If this thing blows up this year, and God forbid somebody gets seriously injured or killed, it's going to come back that this 9/11 ride, and we can't stop you. I'm just saying to people that if you want to ride, I put it on my own Facebook page. I'm going to ride that day. I'm going to ask Father Mano to watch over me before I take off. But I'm going to stop at every stop sign. We go the wrong way on one-way streets. People know the route as the route, but I don't think they realize that we manipulate that route and we do things that you can't just do. You can't just take 500 bikes and go the wrong way on a street. We ride at 6 so that the city traffic and everything can empty out.
We discussed having a ride and just obeying, just stopping at all the stop signs. But the safest way to run this ride, and we have had a lot of experience at this, is one long continuous column with very few stops.
We're not telling people what to do. We just want them to understand that this isn't something that, you can just 12 guys on a coalition went, hey, we're going to do this ride on this day, and here it's that simple. They don't realize that it's a year-round effort that the 12 of us work on. This thing has morphed over 19 rides into what it is, and if you want to help us protest, call the governor's office, call PennDOT.
Safety is our main goal, to do this ride. That's why we go through all the planning and hoops that we do. But I do want to make a statement that the 9/11 Coalition does not sanction any other groups or rides.
I have a number here.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
If you really want to help, if this would somehow degenerate into like anarchy or something here
I hope not.
for the ride, it's going to make life tough for us.
So we can go through the right channels, proper channels with a phone number.
Yeah, I have, this is, and I just picked this up this morning, customer service number to Harrisburg, PennDOT. It is 717-412-5300. We have a website as well. Just go to 9/11 Memorial Coalition. We have stuff on and Facebook and all that. But, I'm as disappointed. I am, when you work this hard on something and then just see it dissolve like this, the only thing I can say that's been accomplished is we may have made, I certainly talked to the mayor's office in Williamsport a lot. I talked to my hometown, Steve Bagwell, the mayor there, nice guy. They voted it down, but nice guy.
Working together.
I mean, it wasn't his.
Trying.
It was the council that did that. But I don't blame them. Harrisburg has to do something about changing this. And you can look at what's happening with the Mummers Parade, and it's almost a duplication of what happened to us.
I was going to say it has the same permit issues as they're working with the Department of Transportation.
And
Center.
I think the purpose here is just to shut everything down that they can. And again, the COVID thing's real. It's out there. People would like to ignore it, but I think we're extraordinary for even trying to put this on, or the Mummers Parade people for trying to put that on. Just a little bit of normalcy. And even Garth Everett said the crowd situation he wasn't bothered by, because basically they're just all lined up as we ride. You know, they can social distance if they want.
Sure.
It's entirely possible. We made a concession. And I was hoping that concession would really win the day by not having the memorial service or a gathering afterwards. But the fact is, we just didn't even get there.
Okay. Well, we definitely want to look forward to 2021. Now you have a little bit of extra time.
Yes.
And I understand that there could be an opportunity to see something about the memorial ride on PBS.
PBS has picked up our documentary, Remember, Honor, Ride. It will premiere on WVIA, PBS station, at 7 o'clock on 9/11. Father Mano and a cast of thousands. Yeah.
Well, looking forward to seeing that. For such a solemn occasion, maybe a little bit of joy can be brought from that. Well, I wish you all the best with all of the wranglings with the government in our state, and hopefully making sure that having a 2021 ride will be a 20th year for you.
Yes.
Thank you to Tank Baird, president of the 9/11 Memorial Coalition, Reverend Gary Smith, vice president there, as well as Todd Winder, fire company from Clinton Township. Thank you for everything you do and all of your service and all of your spirit.
Thank you.
InTouch is locally produced in our studios at 1685 4 Mile Drive in Williamsport. To get in touch with us regarding questions, comments, or topic ideas, call weekdays between 8 and 5, 570-323-8200. You can also write to us at 1685 4 Mile Drive, Williamsport, PA 17701. Attention Freddi Hammer. Or email me at fhammer@backyardbroadcasting.com. For archive programs of our InTouch series, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Backyard Broadcasting. Each current weekly program is featured on the Backyard Broadcasting websites. Thanks for listening to InTouch, a production of Backyard Broadcasting.